Sanctuaries are probably the worst idea and execution thereof that I have ever seen in the Isle's history. On November 14th, the newest Evrima update finally arrived, bringing to the game a bunch of very much anticipated additions such as the amazing gateway map, migration system, weather, amongst some other small features. And one of those are Sanctuaries. And oh boy, we need to talk about that. Just so everyone is on the same page, Sanctuaries are a set of specific areas in Gateway solely dedicated to attract and support fresh spawn dinos. Just like migrations, once a player uses scent, a new icon will appear indicating where and how far away the closest one is. The symbol will gradually fill up as you get closer to the targeted location, and once you arrive it will open up just like the migration UI. The sanctuaries themselves are composed of extremely dense foliage with the intent of preventing adult specimens from entering, or at least make it difficult to do so. Inside those zones there's a very potent and unique herbivore exclusive red mushroom, which provides all three nutrients once consumed. However, there is no equivalent for carnivores. And lastly, these small special biomes are also inhabited by native bees. While they are harmless to hatchlings and small juveniles, at a certain weight any animal will be immediately attacked by them. Obviously a mechanism to prevent players from staying there for way too long, as well as to deter adult dinos even further. Now, this concept does sound pretty neat on the surface, but in reality, not only its execution is absolutely abhorrent, Sanctuaries as an idea is fundamentally flawed if done in this particular way. But first let's begin with how this feature turned out. On practical terms, these areas simply do not work properly. At the moment there are only two of them, with a third coming soon, a number way too small for gateway size. Over time, this will influence player spawns to the point that only the ones closest to the biomes will be picked, leaving all the other ones completely abandoned. The devs already mentioned that they are planning on having a total of around 15 or so that will eventually be fixed, but honestly, that is the least problematic issue we have to deal with. The areas may look extremely dense, and even though they are, at least in comparison to the rest of the map, they are still traversable by adult dinosaurs, and the result is Sanctuaries being a complete slaughterhouse. Adult carnies go there because they know baby dinos will be in the area, the bees don't affect them all that much if you're quick on your feet, and because it is an adult hunting a juvie, players don't even need to know where the babies are. They just spam attacks anywhere, and if you hit by accident, the food just goes straight into your mouth. The foliage that was supposed to be there to specifically prevent adults from entering in the first place is not enough to do what it's meant to do. I understand that they are trying to leave room for adolescent specimens just in case they stay inside for way longer than they should, but isn't that the purpose of the bees to begin with? They only become hostile once juvies surpass a specific weight threshold. If you don't leave the area, they will kill you 100%, so why not make sanctuaries actually dense enough to stop adult predators from entering? And speaking of bees, their damage is just not right. Juvies can die from them while adults barely get hurt at all. This proves that their damage is flat, and they had to adjust their values in order for the little ones to survive long enough to leave the area. Why not make them deal damage related to your current weight? The solution is so evident that it's honestly shocking it came out like this. And to make things even worse, since there's no special food for carnivores, baby carnies rely on other baby players to eat. So herbivores not only have to deal with adult predators, they also have to deal with all other meat-eating juveniles. Right now, sanctuaries are a complete meat grinder, the pure antithesis of what its name implies. But its issues go way beyond their poor implementation. The fundamental purpose of these small enclosures is to offer a safer and calmer environment for fresh spawns to grow, and as a consequence gain a significant advantage and increase their chances of survival. The idea comes from a good place. The Isle is extremely harsh on multiple levels, so giving players a head start sounds pretty decent. However, the way they went around that goes directly against literally everything Evrima has to offer. This game is being built to promote exploration and immersive behavior. The new map is vast and detailed. The diet system influences players to move around constantly. Migrations guide people to move in groups to specific locations so hunts occur more often. Nesting allows friends to play together more quickly. And Sanctuaries actively deny all of these aspects to baby dinos. Even if these zones worked exactly how they were intended to, they are deliberately attracting all juvie players into a very small location protected from the dangers of the world around them. That promotes the exact opposite of exploration. It promotes sedentary and stale gameplay, which was precisely what diets were made for to fight against. This especially affects herbivores, since red mushrooms provide all three nutrients at once. Not only rewards players for staying in one spot, it prevents players from learning the diet system altogether. New players in particular, once they leave those areas, will be completely clueless on what each nutrient is, which food gives what, their combinations, etc. The game doesn't have a tutorial, so you can argue that people will be clueless anyway, but at least going around aimlessly gives players the chance of learning how this system works through exploration and experimentation, something that these new areas explicitly influence you not to do. Furthermore, due to how these biomes are structured alongside the already mentioned mushrooms, Sanctuaries offer almost all functionalities of nesting, aka food and protection, but it's much easier to access, making nesting even less appealing. And as we all know, nesting is pretty much dead on officials and most community servers, so this might be the final nail in the coffin. The way the isle is being made, features like this in this way simply do not work. Since Evrima has such an emphasis on exploration and movement, these safe zones fully contradict the gameplay philosophy, and not only teaches new players the wrong way to play the game, it actively prevents them from learning. Obviously, they are optional and nobody is necessarily forced to go there, but the game clearly wants you to. It is the most evident icon whenever you sent as a baby, and you can see its location anywhere on the map, so it is more than evident that the game wants baby dinos to go to those locations, and the less experienced the player is, the more appealing that will be. Hence why I argue that newcomers will be the ones being hurt the most from this system. I usually offer a suggestion or a possible solution in these cases, but honestly, when it comes to Sanctuary specifically, the best course of action in my opinion is to just removing them altogether. As many of you already know, I'm heavily against the removal of content, since I believe that it's always more beneficial to rework content rather than just delete it. But in this specific circumstance, my conclusion is that Sanctuaries actively hurt the game in such a way that the only permanent solution is for them to not exist at all. And those are my thoughts on this. It is very sad to see an update that brought such anticipated features being stained by such an atrocious mechanic, but mistakes happen. Sometimes developers just have bad ideas and that's okay. What matters now is how they will face the community's feedback and how they will manage this feature. Fingers crossed. A huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel and the content I create. If you wanna join the ranks, you can do so for only $1 a month, the link will be in the description. Don't forget your thoughts and opinions down below, join our Discord server for memes and Pillar and stuff, and I hope to see you all next week.